So much potential. I love watching things starting to grow, up. You see the little points of where the hostas are going to be. Yeah.
Got some, I just planted some,
Depth and speed of the inhale and exhale, as well as the length. You can notice how long approximately the inhale feels and that of the exhale. You can notice the energy associated with the breath as it is right now. Noticing maybe a little energy rising on the inhale and a grounding sensation on the exhale. You can notice any thoughts that arise to the surface of the awareness with the sense of the witness, just noticing what's here without having to feel the need to push it away, nor the need to actively engage in it. Just being just a passive observation. And scanning the body from the head slowly down, you can invite yourself to observe what you come across. So in terms of what feels receptive and open, what feels flexible, maybe also what feels tight or sensitive or even painful. And without attaching to these things nor pushing them away, just an acceptance, an observation. And also maybe inviting yourself to soften in, so softening into the skin and under the skin, softening into the fascia and the muscles, softening into the ligaments and tendons, and allowing the bones to feel heavy. Let them sink down towards the earth. And feeling supported, you can allow yourself to let go a little more. Just letting go, let the ground uplift you. So just present here. You can observe whatever the senses draw your attention to. Noticing the temperature of the air on the skin. Noticing the sounds in the room. Noticing maybe the flicker of light under the eyelashes, the eyelids. You can notice maybe a scent in the air. Maybe even stretch to observe a taste. And then inviting the breath to slow down by way of expansion. You can expand a little more on the inhales from the front to the back of the body. You can Press the low back towards the ground. And the exhale naturally draws the navel down towards the spine. And the inhale expands you again from front to back and side to side, stretching between the rib bones. And the exhales weave the ribs closer together, navel to spine, low back to the earth. Expanding again, front to back on the inhale, side to side, and from the bottom to the top, the heart space rises. And the exhale releases down, the chest shrinks, the ribs weave in, the navel draws to the spine. You can further slow it down by adding in a pause. When you're full of air at the very top, pausing, holding in the breath, maybe even sipping a little more in through the nose. And then a slow, steady release of the air downwards. Chest shrinks, then ribs, then belly. And then suspending the breath, just pausing with before taking in your next inhale. And then the inhale expands you when you're ready. And just following these waves of breath with the mind's eye, a task for mindful presence. Creating waves of peace. And as you notice things floating to the surface of your awareness, just gratitude for the mind that observes these things. And back to watching the breath once again. So we can stretch into the hands and the feet. It could be like wiggling the fingers and toes. It could be making stars and fists. And you might point and flex stars and fists, and then rotate stars and fists with your hands and feet. And you can rotate in the other direction as well. And then we can rest the hands down beside the body and flex into the feet. We can press through the soles of the feet actively, keeping the jaw relaxed. You can roll your thighs inwards towards each other and the low back down towards the floor. And then pointing the toes as you breathe in, point the toes away and squeeze the quadriceps and let the low back leave the ground. So a little arch in the spine. And then as you exhale, drawing the low back down to the ground, flexing the feet, the thighs roll inward. Okay, and then we'll add the arms, pointing the toes, reaching the arms overhead, a full body stretch. And then as you exhale, flex the feet and float the arms back down, low back imprints to the earth. And then just follow this rhythm with your own breath. So the inhales will stretch the front line of your body, pointing toes, stretching insteps. And the exhales engage some heat into the core as the navel draws to the spine and the low back to the ground. So continuing just to follow the rhythm of the breath. This is the vinyasa, just breathing in and out, letting the movement follow the breath. Okay. And then the next time the arms rise overhead, you can let them stay overhead and relax the shoulders so the hands can come. You might bend the elbows. You can let the backs of the hands reach to the floor if they do. Okay, so we'll take a side stretch. We're going to walk the upper body to the right. So the arms will reach to the right. And then walk the bottom half of the body also to the right. So arms and legs come to the right corners of your space. And you might cross your left ankle over the right one if that feels good, or you can just stay as you are. And so the left shoulder blade and hip are grounding and the breath is fluidly flowing. Okay, we'll come back through center. So uncrossing, reaching long to breathe in, and then float the arms down again as you breathe out. You can just soften. Take a breath or two here. And then on an inhale, once again, we can point the toes, squeeze the quadriceps, reach the arms overhead, and then soften, relax your hands and feet, and walk over to the left corners with your arms and legs. So you may or may not cross the right ankle over the left this time. And just letting the shoulder and hip be heavy, we're stretching between the ribs as we breathe here. Okay, and then uncrossing, we'll come back through center. Deep breath in for a body stretch. And then exhale, release your arms down. You can give your legs a bounce. You can soften all over. And then we'll bend into the knees and bring the feet to the floor and windshield wiper the knees side to side. So any depth and any speed, just using the movement to open the hips. Good. Then we can lift the feet off the floor and hug the knees in towards the chest. And here we can draw little circles. So tiny circles in either direction. You can hold your knees in your hands. And then let the circles start to become progressively larger. And we'll feel the massage mirroring the size of the circles. So the bigger the circle, the larger the range that we're moving across the floor. And then change the direction, large circles first, and then progressively smaller. Great. Okay. We can lift the head and shoulders and draw knees and nose towards each other. Apanasana, just squeezing your thighs towards your chest. And then release the head and shoulders down and keeping the legs hugging in. A full breath. Good. And then let's release the left leg down. We'll keep the right knee hugging in. Okay, so the left leg could be straight or bent, and we can move the feet if you like. Pointing and flexing stretches the shins and calves. Rotating lubricates the joints. And then see if you can soften into your face, your jaw, your shoulders, your hips, and your belly. And we're just inviting that right knee to hug in towards the underarm, but hugging the ribs a little bit and breathing deeply. Yeah. Softening what's tensing. Let the belly really move. Each inhale expands the belly. And each exhale draws the navel back towards the spine. Okay, we can open and close the right hip. So right knee to the right, and then we'll cross it over to the left. It could be like passing your bent knee between hands. And you might extend your free arm away from your bent knee. You might turn your gaze to face that free hand. Eyes could be closed or open. Yeah, so just rocking between a twist and a tree frog kind of position, back and forth. Awesome. We'll hold the open position. So the right knee opens towards the right, like a frog on your back. You can just feel the weight of the knee opening up your right hip without forcing it. Good. Okay, we'll take a figure four. We're going to cross right ankle in front of the left knee and bend the left knee. So the foot comes to the floor. Yep. We can, with the left foot on the floor, we could rock side to side. It could be that your foot comes all the way to the floor on the left and then the knee all the way to the floor on the right. It doesn't have to be that pronounced. Good. Okay, and then we can come to center or keep moving. If moving feels good, you could keep it up. Or maybe if you come to center, you might be lifting your left foot off the floor now to enhance the stretch for the right hip, like a sleeping pigeon. Okay, and just whichever you choose, just relax through your face, let the neck and head be supported. And breathe deeply. Great. Okay, so with the left foot on the floor, we're going to uncross the legs and come into a fetal position on the left side. So rolling to your left side with bent knees. You can align your neck with your spine. You might rest your head into your arm like a cushion, yeah. And then it'll be some dynamic movement. So our right arm will reach in front of the body, right where you are. I'll come here. Yeah. And then on the inhale, we're just opening the chest. So the right shoulder blade can come towards the floor behind you. So we'll just try to keep the knees stacked. And then as you exhale, come back to child's pose, fetal position, sorry. Squeeze the belly, puff the shoulders, and then inhale, open again. And just keeping the knees stacked will get a deeper stretch for the IT and into the ribs and lung. Okay, and then eventually when you come into the twist and the open position, you can hold that space. And here, if you need to adjust anything, then go for it. It could be a change of position for your legs, arms, or head. And now each inhale expands you, and each exhale softens what's tensing. Yeah, and breathing deeply. Okay, we'll come back into fetal position. So coming to roll back on your left side. We're gonna take a twist from here. So from your left position, we'll come into Sphinx arms facing the back of the mat. The knees can stay bent. Yeah, and elbows can land under your shoulders. Perfect. And you can possibly internally rotate your forearms and press them down. And then for me, actively pressing into the forearms while hanging the head feels like a nice release for the jaw, the back of the hairline, the temples. But it could be that lifting your head feels good for the throat stretch, or you might move your head to explore what feels best, just with the intention to release tension, release what doesn't serve. Yeah. And then we'll make our way back onto the back once again. So coming to roll back down, and you might windshield wiper your knees side to side. Okay. And then walking the feet in close to your body, hip bone distance apart. We'll rest the hands down on the floor beside the body. And we'll tilt the pelvis. So we'll start with a deep breath in. Then as we exhale, round the low back so the low back presses down, and then lift your pelvis up like a very low bridge. Yeah, and then the inhale brings the tailbone back down and arching the spine, stretching the belly, opening the chest. Okay, and then again, exhale, lower, rounding the low back and lifting the pelvis up. And then on the inhale, lowering back to the ground, tailbone touches down and the spine arches. Okay, and then exhale, round the low back, press it down and bridge your hips, a low bridge. And then inhale, once again, tailbone down, arch the spine. Okay, and then releasing that, we'll change the pattern. So it's going to be dynamic movement through bridge and crunching. So as we breathe in this time, we'll bridge our hips up and reach arms overhead. Then as we breathe out, we'll lower one vertebra at a time and then crunch, head and shoulders lift and the arms reach forward. Yep. And then inhale, Coming back into the bridge and just letting the neck be long and aligned with your spine. And the exhale, lowering one vertebra at a time, and then crunch. Head and shoulders lift, navel to spine, low back to the ground. Good. Again, bridging up. This time we'll hold the bridge, but we can release the arms down. So the arms come down to the floor. Maybe they interlace underneath your body. If they do, you might come up a little higher onto the outer triceps. So in any case, we're just digging down through the heels energetically and rolling the thighs towards each other and feeling that each inhale stretches the belly, and each exhale, we're feeling the grounding support beneath us. Great. So we can release the arms, release back down, and then take what you need. You might rest here or windshield wiper or stretch the body, whatever it is. Okay. So next we're gonna hug the left knee in towards the body. Left knee hugs towards the left underarm, and the right leg could be straight or bent. Okay, and then if you wanted to move your feet around, that's optional. Pointing and flexing stretches shins and calves. Rotating lubricates the ankle. And eventually relaxing the feet and feeling the support of the ground. So you're feeling the connection points, shoulder blades, and hips equally rooting. And then the belly is really rising each time that you breathe in, feeling like a balloon. And each time that you breathe out, the navel draws to the spine, low back to the ground. Soften the jaw and just focus on the movement of the breath. Okay, and then we'll open and close the left hip. So left knee to the left, the right arm might extend, and then cross your left knee over to the right. The left hand can extend. Yeah, and if it feels right with your neck, you could be rocking your head along with this movement. Good, and any depth and speed, just following the rhythm of your breath, opening and twisting. Yeah. So we'll eventually come into the open hip position. So the left knee will open towards the left and down like a tree or a frog. So the hip is opening, the body's breathing. We're inviting the backs of both hips to be grounding, both shoulder blades rooting. Okay, and then figure four. So the right foot comes to the floor and the left ankle crosses. And then we can rock side to side. So massaging the psoas, the IT band, opening the hip. And then keep moving or come to center. Perhaps you might lift your right foot away from the floor. Make a sleeping pigeon. Just breathe, breathing to open into the left hip. The left knee subtly draws away from you. The jaw stays relaxed. And the breath flows freely. Okay, and then we'll release right foot to the floor, uncross the left ankle, and come into fetal position on the right side. So rolling to your right, you can align your neck and spine. You can adjust your knee bend if you need. And then dynamic movement, the left arm extends and arcs over to open on the inhale. And the exhale engages the core, coming back and just trying to keep the knees stacked. This is great. Just opening through the chest, stretching between your ribs on your inhale. Your exhale engages your core as you come back. One more like this. Expand to open. Engage to close. And then we'll come into the open twist position. So the shoulder blades are heavy. You can adjust your arms, your legs. They don't have to be bent or straight. It could be either or both. And just scanning through the body, is there something that could be softened? Can you let the ground support you a little more to breathe a little deeper? Great. We'll come back to fetal position on the right side. Realign the spine and take a full breath. And then we'll move to that modified Sphinx pose. So we'll be leaving the knees bent and just coming onto the forearms facing the back of your space. An internal rotation of your forearms, you can press them down into the earth and then either explore moving your head or lift or lower it, whatever feels good in your body. Deep fluid breath. Okay, and then we'll come back down onto the back once again. Okay, and we'll set up for bridge movement. Again, it'll be dynamic, so feet are hip bone distance and close to the body. Okay, and we'll add on to what we did last time. So we'll bridge the hips up and reach the arms overhead to breathe in. Then as we exhale, lower, slow roll down. Crunch head and shoulders up and draw your right knee to your nose, squeeze the belly. Okay, and then foot down and then bridging, arms overhead, lift the hips up, breathe in, and then slow roll down. Crunch and lift left knee to nose, squeeze the belly. Okay, and then left foot down, head and shoulders down, bridge and reach. Roll your thighs in, dig your heels down. Exhale, slow roll down, low back down. Head and shoulders, right knee to nose, squeeze the belly. Good, right foot down. Bridging, reach the arms overhead, inhale. And exhale, slow roll. Head and shoulders, left knee to nose, squeeze. Good. And then foot down, head and shoulders down. Bridge, breathe in. And then we'll lower down and crunch, and we're going to hold the crunch. So we'll bring the fingertips behind the head and we'll lift the feet. So now the shins are parallel to the ground and the shoulder blades are intending off the floor. So keep your belly drawing to your spine and the low back to the ground and just tap. Right heel down and then lift, and then left heel down and then lift. Okay, same thing, right heel. The trick is just keeping the low back grounded, keep breathing, left heel. And one more on each side, right heel and lift, left heel and lift. Hug the knees to your nose, squeeze the belly, and then lower head and shoulders, keeping the squeeze. A deep breath, let the belly expand into your legs. Good, and then you could rock side to side. Awesome. And happy baby. Soles of the feet face the sky, the bent knees open wide. It could be rocking or stillness. And so as the knees bend deeply and the knees reach for the floor outside of your shoulders, the soles of the feet are kind of pressing up. So we have that extra action going on to open the hips. And then we can draw the right heel to the groin and extend the left leg to the left. Flex your left foot. And then draw left heel in, right leg to the right. Flex your right foot. Good. And then again, left leg extends, right heel in. And then left heel in, right leg extends. Okay, and then both legs into a V shape. Invite the tailbone towards the floor. Heart space is open. Good. And then legs up like a waterfall. You can point and flex your feet or pedal them, stretching into the legs. All right, we're gonna rock and roll the length of the spine and land in a boat pose, or you're gonna rise a different way, whatever you want. So however it is, we're gonna end up in a boat pose next. So you might just rock right up, put the brakes on, and be here, wherever here is, and breathe. Awesome. Great. And then we'll cross the ankles and bring the hands down, push the floor to lift the feet. And we'll end up in table pose, hands and knees. Good, and we can find some movement, some swaying, some circling, any kind of back and forth motion. You can stretch the wrists, you can stretch your heels and Achilles, whatever feels good. It could be different hand positions. Good. Okay, and let's take cat and cow. So we'll inhale to arch the spine, the tail, and the heart lift. As we exhale, we can curl the toes under into cat, round the back, and squeeze the belly, tilt the pelvis down. And then shoelaces down to inhale, arch the spine, tail and heart lift. And then curl the toes, exhale, around the back. Same thing again, shoelaces, heart and tail lift, inhale, and exhale around and squeeze. And then keeping the heels up, toes curled under, we'll hover our table just a couple inches off the floor. Good. And then downward dog. Lift the hips, lower the head. We can pedal our feet. Shift the weight side to side. You might nod your head. Good. Let's walk our feet forward. We'll end up in ragdoll at the front of our space. You can bend the knees generously. You could hang or lean or bounce or sway. Spreading the toes, soften their grip to the earth. And then slowly roll up to standing. And once you rise, you can roll the shoulders around at the top. Any direction, any way. And then we'll shine the palms forward, coming into a mountain pose. So the toes are spreading, the arches are lifting. We're rooting down through the feet, lifting through the kneecaps. Lift the pelvis, the pelvic floor, the heart space. Soften the jaw. Okay, and we'll inhale, reach up. And exhale, float the arms down. And inhale, rise. Exhale, fold forward and down. Lift halfway, breathe in. Exhale, fold deeply. Root down to rise up. Inhale. You could reach up potentially. Exhale, release the arms down. Okay, this time we'll inhale and reach up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, lift halfway, engage the core, lengthen the spine. And exhale, step the right foot back. And come into this runner's lunge. So the right heel is pushing back and the left knee is above the left ankle. And the hands could be on blocks or the floor. Good. And breathing here. We'll come from this shape into pyramid and back several times. So the hips will reach up and we'll straighten the front leg. Then we'll bend back into the front knee and lift the heart. Yeah, and then hips rise, the head might lower. Again, hands on blocks is fine. And then bending into the knee, lift the heart. And one more time, pyramid, straighten the leg, and then bend back into your knee, heart lift. Okay, let's take a twist next from here. So the right hand is on a block or the floor. We're gonna open the heart to the left. Your left arm could rise or wrap or rest on your leg. Awesome, and the thighs are rolling towards each other, pushing back through the right heel and breathing. Good. And then coming back to face forward, we'll step the left foot back, coming into plank pose from here, hands on blocks or floor. Okay, we can lower the knees, chest and chin, or take a chaturanga, either way. We're bending the elbows to lower, and then inhale, a back bend. And let's come to child's pose. We'll sink the sitting bones back and down, release the head, and breathe. Exhales, release whatever is not serving. And the inhales are expansive, offering a stretch without strain. Good. We'll rise back up to table. And table, we'll hover our knees off the floor just a couple of inches, pressing into the knuckles. Okay, and then downward facing dog. Lift the hips, lower the head, broaden the shoulders. We'll look forward, take a breath in, and exhale, step or walk or hop your feet to the front of your space. We'll lift halfway and breathe in. Exhale, fold forward and then down, lifting the hip creases over your ankles. Root down to rise up. Could be a roll. You might reach up at the top. There might be a back bend. And then equal balance, prayer hands to the heart. We'll pause and breathe. Just here now, no action required. Okay, let's inhale and reach up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, half lift, long spine, strong core. Exhale, hands down, the left foot steps back, and we'll bend into the right knee. Runner's lunge, ankle over, ankle under knee. Yeah, and pushing actively through the left heel. The hands could be on blocks, breathing. Okay, and then that dynamic movement. So pyramid, our hips lift up, maybe the front foot flexes. Exhale, and then inhale, bend back into your knee and lift your heart. Okay, and then exhale, a straight-ish right leg. And then inhale, back to the lunge. And one more time, hips rise, spine lengthens, head lowers. And then bend your knee and come back to the lunge. So twisting from here, left hand to block or floor, right hand to thigh or in the air or wrapping around your low back. Beautiful. Keep pushing through the left heel. Keep rolling the thighs towards each other and keep breathing. We can root into the left knuckles. Good. Okay, and then untwist, turning back to face forward and stepping back to plank. Okay, from plank, knees, chest, and chin, or chaturanga. We're lowering on our exhale, squeezing elbows. Inhale, a back bend. Exhale, downward dog this time. We'll lift the hips and lower the head. We'll broaden our shoulders. Seeing if we can come into the ease here. This effort to hold the shape. And the mind is observing the breath, observing the senses. Is there something that might be softened within this shape? Could the breath possibly slow down and deepen any amount? Okay, let's lift the right leg, three-legged dog. The toes will point to the floor. Great. We can see if we can lower the left heel, let it be a little heavier. Awesome. And then bend the right knee and open the hips. So knee points to the sky. Awesome. And then re-square your hips. The toes come back down, come back to face the floor, sorry. And breathe in. And then exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Squeeze your belly, round your back. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to your right tricep, elbow or shoulder. Right knee to the right, yeah. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, right knee to left elbow, tricep. Okay. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, we'll step our right foot forward and rise up for a crescent lunge. So the right knee is above the right ankle. And yep, we can bring our arms up if it feels okay. It could be a cactus or something else instead. So knee over ankle, hip crease drawing back, and heart lifting. Thighs rolling in. Okay, we'll breathe here, softening the jaw. And then come forward into warrior three. We're going to balance on the right foot. So the hands could stay, or they could come to prayer or airplane. We're going to draw the weight into the front foot. And then lift your back foot off the floor and breathe. Awesome. Keep softening through your toes and jaw. Beautiful. Okay. Back to the crescent lunge. We'll lift the arms, open the heart. Inhale. And then exhale, bring your hands back down and step your right foot back. Okay. So chaturanga or knees, chest and chin. Inhale, take your back bend. Exhale, downward dog. So landing here, just seeing where you can create some more space, maybe slowing the breath, broadening the shoulders, softening the jaw and the belly. Okay, now the left leg rises and the left toes point to the floor. The right heel is heavy. Good. Then we'll bend the left knee and open the left hip. Knee to the sky, left heel to your right glute. Shoulders are level. Nice. Three-legged dog. Breathe in, extend your leg. Exhale, knee to nose, squeeze your belly around your back. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Squeeze. Good. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, right tricep. Squeeze. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale, crescent lunge. Step the left foot forward and down. Bend the left knee. So our left knee above our left ankle. And our left hip crease draws back. So we feel the stretch into the right hip flexor. Take whatever arm position you like. Could be anything. And we'll open the heart and soften the jaw and breathe. Yeah, great. It's going to be a balanced shape, so the arms might stay or change position however you like. Hands could even be on blocks. We're just going to lift the back foot, flex the back foot so the toes point down, and lengthen the spine. And breathe. Yeah, keep breathing. Awesome. Crescent lunge, bringing the right foot back down. Lift the heart, maybe the arms. Breathe in. And exhale, vinyasa. So the hands lower, step it to plank. Could be knees, chest and chin, or chaturanga to exhale. Good, inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Hips rise, head lowers, shoulders broaden. The breath flows freely. Okay, we'll lift our right leg again, three-legged dog. Breathe in. Coming to lizard, we're going to step the right foot wide of the right hand. So however you get there. And the left knee can come down. Okay. So here you might have blocks under your hands, or it could be hands to the floor. You could have blocks under forearms. On this lunge, we're opening through the hips. So if it's available for you, you might come onto the outer edge of your right foot and let the knee open in this instance. Okay, and then the heart comes forward as the knee opens to the right. And it's like there's a magnet on the left hip flexor weighing towards the floor. And then scan the body and see where you can soften. You might be clenching the jaw or something different. And just breathe, softening in. From here, we're going to take twisted lizard. So we'll come back onto the hands if you lowered. And the left hand will support you. The right hand's coming to the inner right thigh or knee. Okay, so we're rolling it open without forcing. See if you can soften through your jaw, space between shoulders and ears. Big deep breath. Okay. And then back onto the hands facing forward. We're coming back to downward dog. So however you arrive there is perfect. And you might pedal your feet, shift your weight. You could bend both knees deeply and then straighten them. You could stay in down dog, take a vinyasa, or come down to child's pose for these next breaths. So take what you want to. And then we might meet in child's pose for a few breaths. You can stretch out your wrists. You can roll them out. Might be a little rock of your hips, of your head, of your shoulders. Just scan through the body. What could soften? Okay. Okay, we're gonna come back up to just that one last side. So table to down dog. Hips rise, head lowers, spine lengthens. Okay, and then the left leg lifts and the toes point to the floor. A deep breath in. We're gonna exhale and step the left foot wide. The left foot wide, edge of the mat. The heart reaches forward, the right knee lowers down. Okay, so we're gonna just invite the left knee to get heavy to open the left hip. Yep. And the heart still reaches forward, and you could be on your hands or your forearms. It could be on blocks or the floor. And then scan through and see what could soften here. You know, and it's fine to have your foot flat. It doesn't have to be rolling open. We're just letting the weight of the knee open so that we're opening the hip and we're stretching the right hip flexor. Breathing. And coming onto the hands for the twist. So the right hand supports you. The left hand can come to your left thigh. And we're inviting the left knee to open. You can turn your gaze towards your left or the back of your space. Soften to breathe. And then unravel, we'll curl the back toes under and we're coming back. Just one more downward dog. Lift your hips, you can pedal out your feet. Sometimes even like bouncing or nodding your head. Awesome. Okay, so we'll come forward to plank pose. From plank, we're lowering right down to the belly. Okay, and then we'll open the right knee like a frog's leg to the right. And the arms could be cactused, and you can just lower your left cheek to the floor. There could be some cleansing breaths. You can sigh out your exhale, just letting the energy settle. You can feel the beat of the heart, experience the movement of fluid in the body, and experience the movement of the breath like fluid through your energy field. And we're going to take a twist and a shoulder stretch next. So the left arm extends to the left like a T. Now, if there's any tingling or pain in your left shoulder, please bring your left arm closer to your body. We're rolling onto the left side. So the right hand supports you, and the right knee can point to the ceiling, and your right foot might rest on the floor behind your left leg. Yeah, so the bent knee points to the ceiling. You can lower your head down. It might rest on something, your arm or your free hand. And then just breathing. So it's an intense shoulder stretch, a low back opener, and a bit of a hip stretch. Yep. And then we're coming back to the belly. Okay, and we can bring our fingertips to the floor. Elbows point up, fingertips wide. We'll inhale, wave the spine up, and exhale, left shoulder dips to the center, look right. Okay, yeah. And then inhale back up. Exhale, right shoulder dips, look left. And one more each side. Inhale, lift, and exhale, left shoulder. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right shoulder. Okay, then rise through center and lower down. And then taking frog leg on the other side. So bent left knee opens to the left. The right cheek can lower down. Your arms might cactus. So allowing for any adjustment. There is the feeling, if you imagine that your left hip point has a magnet on it, that's going to lengthen and stretch through the sacrum on your low back. Okay, and then the twist and shoulder stretch. So adjusting as need be. The right arm can extend to the right. Left fingertips walk in to support you. And the left knee can point towards the ceiling. Ish, yeah. Yeah, your foot might come to the floor. Good. And if there's any tingling in the right shoulder or pain, just adjusting your arm position. Breathing. And then we'll come back onto the belly. And we'll come into a Sphinx pose. We'll bring the forearms to the floor, elbows under shoulders. Internally rotate your forearms and tilt your pelvis so the tailbone points to the toes. And then position your head so your neck feels maybe like a stretch without a strain. Okay, you can stay or you can come into seal so your hands might widen and point outwards. Maybe the elbows leave the ground just a little or a lot, but we're keeping the shoulders down as the heart rises. Pelvis is tilting, tailbone to toes. Okay, and then we'll lower down and we'll point the toes out and stack the hands, elbows wide, and rest the forehead down. Crocodile. You could shift your hips or rest. Again, there could be some sighing, audible exhales, releasing residual tension, letting go. And then you can roll from here onto your back. You can come to lie on your back. You might bring the soles of the feet together or windshield wiper your knees once you arrive. There might be some rocking, yeah. And then you can take another legs up position or happy baby. You might slow down the release of your breath, taking in deep inhales. The exhales are just a little longer. And then if there's anything else your body craves, you can take it. Otherwise, just starting to find your integrative shape, your final resting position. Coming into that space. So coming into an integrative resting shape, it could be Shavasana or something else. You could be grabbing props. Inviting yourself to let go of cultivated breath now. Just knowing that the body will take what it needs. Breath is natural. You can allow yourself to be fully supported. And there's no action required. There's nothing for you to actively do here now. You've moved all the stuck energy through and out. And now you can just be here. Drawing attention into the body and into the space that you're in. You can notice the natural fluctuation of the body as you breathe in and breathe out. The fluctuation of energy. Maybe expanding, stretching a little more to breathe in a little deeper from the bottom to the top. And the exhale moves energy through your body. You can find a little movement into the fingers and toes. You might stretch the hands and feet. Could be a partial or full body stretch that would feel good. You might draw the knees in towards your body, taking a moment to squeeze windshield wiper or rock. You might roll to fetal position on either side. You could pause for a moment, drawing in gratitude and self-appreciation. And supporting yourself to rise back up when you're ready and then to sit grounded and spacious, tall. Stacking the head and the heart and the pelvis, drawing attention into the heart space, the heart abundant with love and light, compassion. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy, safe, and free. And may the thoughts, words, and actions of my life contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Do you love your yoga, Cheryl?